The Rendlesham Forest Incident, 1980, December 1980. The Cold War looms large, and two key NATO air bases, RAF Bentwaters and RAF Woodbridge, stand side by side in the Suffolk countryside of England. These bases were the staging ground for a vast arsenal of US tactical nuclear weapons. This setting of high military importance only adds to the gravity of what would soon transpire, an event that would become known as Britain's Roswell, the Rendlesham Forest Incident. It began on the night of December 26th. At approximately 3 a.m., security patrolmen near the eastern perimeter fence of RAF Woodbridge reported seeing strange, powerful lights apparently descending into the adjacent Rendlesham Forest. The initial assumption was a downed aircraft. Staff Sergeant Jim Penniston, along with Airmen John Burrows and Bud Clary, were dispatched into the dark, foggy woods to investigate. As they navigated the dense pine plantation, guided by the flickering lights, the men were hit with an uncanny silence. The forest noises had ceased entirely. They eventually came upon the source of the illumination, a small, triangular craft, metallic, about 9 feet across. It was not crashed, but either hovering silently or resting on 3 landing gear points just off the ground. It emitted an intense, pulsing yellow and blue light. The air was reportedly thick with a static charge. Penniston, the most senior man, cautiously approached. He claims he spent several minutes circling the craft, making sketches in his official notebook, and even touching its rough, warm surface. He noted strange, meticulously etched geometric symbols on the hull. The other airmen, remaining at a distance, confirmed the observation. Within minutes, the object began to glow brighter, rose silently a few feet, and then accelerated away with unbelievable speed, vanishing among the distant trees. Upon their return, the airmen were debriefed and told to keep silent, an order that would soon be undermined by physical evidence. That was the first encounter, a finding dismissed by some, yet validated by physical proof. The real intrigue, however, was still 2 nights away. To make sure you don't miss the rest of this incredible story, please hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll be right back with the Deputy Base Commander's involvement. The morning after the initial encounter, the team returned to the clearing. What they found solidified the airmen's claims. 3 deep, symmetrical indentations, like tripod marks, were pressed into the hard, frozen ground where the object had rested. Furthermore, official Air Force personnel using Geiger counters recorded alarmingly high levels of localized radiation at the site, specifically near the landing marks and on the nearby trees. This was a critical and unexplainable piece of physical evidence. Initially, the security police reports were filed away. But the high strangeness of the situation did not sit well with the Deputy Base Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. A highly decorated professional officer, Halt was skeptical, but determined to understand what had truly happened on his watch. On the night of December 28th, Halt decided to personally lead a team back into the woods. The team, equipped with a portable cassette recorder and Geiger counters, confirmed the abnormal radiation readings at the tripod marks. As they continued their search, the woods suddenly came alive again. The team began to observe multiple lights hovering over a farmer's field some distance away. Colonel Halt started recording his observations onto the cassette, a recording that would later become a crucial, undisputed piece of evidence in the Rendlesham file. On the tape, Halt is heard describing the perplexing movements of the lights. There it is again. It's moving toward us. It's a strange, pulsating glow. He documents a large primary light that appeared elliptical, which then seemed to split into 5 separate, brilliant white objects. One of these objects allegedly approached the team, stopping almost directly overhead, before performing a breathtaking feat of acceleration. Colonel Halt's voice, recorded in the field, is the sound of an experienced military officer grappling with the impossible. He explicitly stated that he witnessed unidentified aerial phenomena under intelligent control. This second night removed all doubt for the key witnesses. Something extraordinary and non-conventional had utilized the forest. The Pentagon and the Ministry of Defense tried for years to explain away these events. Stay with us as we analyze the official denial and the enduring legacy of the Rendlesham incident. In the years immediately following the incident, both the US Air Force and the UK Ministry of Defence, MOD, engaged in what many perceived as a swift and extensive cover-up. Publicly, they downplayed the event, suggesting the airmen were merely confused by the beam from the nearby Orford Ness lighthouse and bright stars. This explanation has been widely ridiculed by critics and witnesses alike, who point to the physical evidence and the close-range proximity of the sightings. The most damning piece of official evidence to surface was the Halt memo. Penned by Colonel Halt himself shortly after the events, this memo formally detailed the 3 nights of sightings, the indentations, and the high radiation readings. This memo was officially suppressed for years before finally being released to the public under the Freedom of Information Act. Its release essentially confirmed that a high-ranking officer had, on official record, declared the presence of UFOs. The legacy of Rendlesham is immense. It stands as perhaps the most well-documented military UFO encounter in UK history, involving numerous credible witnesses and multiple types of physical evidence, including the radiation data and the indelible audio recording. The base, now closed, remains a pilgrimage site for researchers and enthusiasts, drawn by the lingering question: what highly advanced craft landed in a sleepy English forest, and why? The Rendlesham Forest Incident is a powerful example of an unexplained phenomenon being confronted by highly trained personnel and documented with physical proof. It challenges our understanding of what is possible and what governments are willing to disclose. The debate over lighthouses versus alien visitation continues to this day. Beyond the eyewitness accounts and the Halt memo, the Rendlesham case is uniquely bolstered by specialized physical data, specifically the radiation readings. The morning after the first sighting, security staff used standard military Geiger counters and recorded high levels of beta and gamma radiation at the 3 indentations left in the frozen soil. The readings were so anomalous that they required specialized reporting. The scientific implication of this finding is profound. Whatever landed was either operating on or emitting high-energy particles. While the MOD later argued the readings were inconclusive or within natural background variation, the military procedure followed at the time demonstrates that the levels were considered genuinely unusual by the personnel present. Furthermore, some of the airmen involved, particularly John Burroughs, later experienced various serious and chronic illnesses, which they and their lawyers attribute directly to exposure at the landing site. This has led to long legal battles and raised serious questions about the long-term health consequences of the encounter. The controversy only deepened with the consistent pattern of official denial and obfuscation. Documents released years later revealed that the UK Ministry of Defence was, internally, taking the incident far more seriously than they let on publicly. An internal memo from the MOD's Scientific Intelligence Branch stated that the evidence suggested the object was of an extraterrestrial nature, a stunning acknowledgement that was swiftly buried. Key files were either destroyed or classified for decades, feeding the narrative that a concerted effort was made to suppress the true nature of the events. This isn't just a story about lights in the sky. It's a testament to the struggle between an unexplained reality and the powerful structures determined to control the public narrative. The physical evidence of radiation and the subsequent medical issues of the witnesses continue to haunt the official lighthouse explanation. The enduring question is, what were they trying to hide? While the Rendlesham Forest Incident is often cited as a prime example of an extraterrestrial visit, it has also spurred a wide array of fascinating alternative theories. One theory suggests the event was a secret, advanced military experiment, a highly classified prototype craft, perhaps utilizing stealth technology, that suffered a malfunction. Given the base's location and the nuclear capability stored there, testing experimental aircraft or surveillance technology is plausible. However, the erratic, physics-defying movements described by Colonel Halt make conventional technology a difficult fit. Another theory, often proposed by psychological experts, suggests a form of mass hallucination or psychological contagion, spurred by the stress of Cold War duties and the isolation of the forest environment. Yet, This fails to account for the physical evidence of the indentations and the radiation readings, which were documented before some of the most dramatic sightings occurred. The consistency across multiple independent witnesses over 3 separate nights further weakens purely psychological explanations. Regardless of the true explanation, the Rendlesham case has had a massive cultural and historical impact. It remains the benchmark against which UK UFO sightings are measured, cementing its place in popular culture. It has inspired countless books, documentaries, and academic studies. It forced the UK Ministry of Defence to publicly acknowledge and investigate the topic of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, more seriously than they had previously. The case serves as a touchstone for conversations about government transparency, military secrecy, and the potential for life beyond Earth. The truth about Rendlesham remains locked away, either in classified files or in a corner of the universe we don't yet understand. But its power lies in its ability to challenge authority and spark the imagination. It confirms that even in the most secure military zones, the unknown can descend without warning. The true core of the Rendlesham Forest Incident lies not in the documents or the science, but in the people who lived through it. The lasting legacy of the event is seen in the enduring testimonies of the key witnesses, men like Staff Sergeant Jim Penniston, Airman John Burroughs, and Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt. These individuals were highly trained, disciplined members of the U.S. Air Force, trained to observe and report with military precision. Their collective credibility makes their accounts exceptionally difficult to dismiss. Unlike many UFO cases based on single, often fleeting observations, the Rendlesham witnesses have stuck to their accounts for decades, often in the face of ridicule, professional setbacks, and even legal battles. John Burroughs, in particular, has fought the U.S. government relentlessly for years regarding the medical issues he believes stem from the radiation exposure at the landing site, an ordeal that profoundly underscores the seriousness of what he encountered. Jim Penniston's detailed sketches and notes from the first night provide a foundational visual record that has never wavered. Even Colonel Halt, who was initially skeptical, has spent his later years actively seeking disclosure and affirming his account, releasing his own documentary and memoir. These men had everything to lose, their careers, their reputations, by pursuing a story that their own government officially denied. Yet their commitment to the truth, as they experienced it, remains unwavering. Their willingness to stand up and speak out against the official narrative transformed the Rendlesham case from a simple security incident into a powerful narrative of conscience versus cover-up. The personal price paid by the Rendlesham witnesses, the health issues, the scrutiny, the struggle for validation, adds an ethical weight to the mystery. It compels us to look beyond the lights and consider the profound impact this extraordinary event had on the lives of those caught in the fog of a forest in 1980. Their sacrifice ensures the Rendlesham incident will never fade into obscurity. If this deep dive into the Rendlesham mystery captivated you, please do 3 things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the unknown, and most importantly, leave a comment below telling us your theory about what happened in the Rendlesham Forest.